Hi, welcome back. Sorry I kind of ran out of time in the last video. Hopefully you followed me now, the second video. But anyway, so I kind of gave in the last video, I said this. With this rhythmic value dot, we have, what we do is say we have something. We put a rhythmic value dot next to it. And then what we get, because we have that rhythmic value dot, is we get whatever the original something was, plus an additional half of that something. So we had this example down here, and I think you can see it, but actually I'm pretty sure you can see it. But we had, I have $1. I have $1, but I put a rhythmic value dot next to that dollar. Then what I get is I have my original dollar, but I add to it 50 cents because that's 1/2 of my original dollar. So what do I have if I take $1 and I put this rhythmic value dot next to it? Well, I'll have $1.50 because I took my original dollar, added 50 cents. So anyway, with that example in your mind, and I'm going to clear, actually no, I should clear this out. Take just a sec. Okay, there we go. So, and I'll redraw this up here, plus 1/2 of that something. So, with that kind of example in your mind, and with this rule, I'll circle this in red to make it be like that's our kind of rule for what we're doing. What does it mean then if we take a quarter note and we put a rhythmic value dot next to it? Well, we take what we had, which was our quarter note, and we add to it 1/2 of a quarter note in terms of rhythmic values. So we're just talking about rhythmic values here. Now, and I'll actually put boxes around these. So there. So we take a quarter note and we add 1/2 of a quarter note. Now, what in terms of rhythmic value is 1/2 of a quarter note? Well, hopefully that's right. It's an eighth note, isn't it? Because you can fit 2 eighth notes into 1 quarter note. So a dotted quarter note is equal to the same amount of space as a quarter note plus an eighth note. So altogether, this would be equal to the amount of space that 3 eighth notes would take up. I hope I'm not confusing you by drawing those beams all together. This is, we had a video on beaming notes, and I'm just beaming together 3 notes to show that I've got 3 eighth notes here. So anyway, that is the rhythmic value dot. And this, if we wanted to say exactly what that note was with the rhythmic value, we just say that we've got our quarter note and our eighth note, and we're tying them together so we don't re-articulate that eighth note. And then that is going to be exactly what this dotted quarter note is. So anyway, that's our first example of what a dotted quarter note is. Now how about, let's do one more of these to figure out what is, just erase this. Almost done. There we go. Okay, so now for another example, how about I said I'll give you a half note, and I'm going to put our rhythmic value dot right next to it. So what would a half note with a rhythmic value dot next to it be equal to? And maybe you might want to pause the video now and try to figure this out on your own, but let's kind of apply this rule up here. So we take what we were given, which was our half note, and then we're going to add to it 1/2 of what we were given, which was our half note. And I'll just put the boxes around these again. I don't know if that's hopefully that's making it a bit easier for you to see how I'm working with this. So we're taking our half note and we're putting a rhythmic value dot next to it, which means we get our half note, we take our half note, and we add to it 1/2 of that half note. Now, what occupies the same amount of time as 1/2 of a half note, or what is 1/2 of a half note? Well, hopefully you're right. It's a quarter note, isn't it? That's a half note in 4/4 time takes up 2 beats, and a quarter note takes up 1 beat in 4/4 time. So a half note plus a quarter note, that's what a dotted half note is equal to. So let's actually just write that down right now. That if we wanted to write this out, we add a half note plus a quarter note. And how many beats is this? So a half note is 2 beats, and this is another way to think about it. So we're given, we can just write in numbers here. So I'll do this in green right now. So we're given something. We're given a 2, but with a rhythmic value dot next to it. So what do? We take that 2 and we add 1/2 of 2. So what is 1/2 of 2? Well, that's just 1, isn't it? So that means that we get 3 beats. And that's what this is down here. This is, I'll do this in yellow, I guess. This is, if this were a measure, we would be playing 1, 2 beats there, and then we would have our third beat right there. So this is 3 beats, equal to 3 beats. And if we wanted to write this exactly as how we would play it, we would just write our half note tied to our quarter note. Okay, let's do one more example of these, and hopefully then that'll be it, and you'll kind of get the concept. So I'll just erase this. I'll erase these numbers. I think I've got time left to do one more example. All right, let's, for our last example, I think we're really only going to have time for one more of these. Let's do the whole note. Let's do a whole note. So let's say we have a whole note. We've got our football right there, our little oval, and we've got our dot next to it. And let's actually kind of get in the habit of writing down these numbers up here. So we've got what? How many beats does a whole note get in 4/4 time? Well, it gets 4 beats, right? And hopefully you have a concept of that. And if you don't, you can watch the videos at the beginning of the playlist where I go over how many beats each note gets in 4/4 time. So we've got our dot next to it. So we take what we were given, which was 4 plus 1/2 of 4. What's 1/2 of 4? Well, that's 2, right? So then we're just taking 4 plus 2, and we're getting 6. Hopefully I'm not confusing you. I'm going a little quick because I'm running out of time. But so anyway, down here. So we've got our 4-beat whole note with our rhythmic value dot. So that is equal to the whole note we were given plus 1/2 of the whole note, which is what? Well, we kind of figured it out up here that we take 1/2 of a 4-beat note. That gives us a 2-beat note, which is a half note, isn't it? So then we find out that what we have is our whole note plus a half note, which is 6 beats when you tie it all together. So hopefully you found this interesting. And in the next few videos, we're going to get into 6/8 time, and that's where you really kind of need to understand what these dotted rhythms are. And hopefully, if these don't make sense to you right now, hopefully with some examples they will. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.